Greetings, everybody. I'm going to come at you with this video, which I think it's a very interesting topic. And for those that want to sit there and claim that this is some Seventh-day Adventist scare tactic or conspiracy theory, I just want to bring to you this video here. I'm not going to play it at all. I'm going to link you to it in the description box below so you can listen to it for yourself. Joggler66, and the guests he has on his radio program, folks, he's not a Seventh-day Adventist. He does believe in the sanctity of the seventh-day Sabbath, and he does acknowledge the aspect of Sunday laws. And this isn't some conspiracy, fear-mongering thing, okay? This is a fact. This is a fact that there is Sunday legislation being put out there. And the host of this show, he himself, he's from Belgium. So he lives within the European Union. So he is in the middle of this. He knows about this. And this is actually the first time I've heard about this. I haven't even really heard much Sabbatarians speak on this specific issue, but this is very interesting. Now, I'm going to bring to you two articles that he does reference and he does read off of here, and I'm going to kind of go over something in Romans chapter 13, which is very unique. And I really liked how he put it in here. And then the rest of this, you'll have the opportunity to listen to this broadcast that was made on April 17th, 2015. But he does believe the aspect of the Sunday law. He does believe in the aspect of the Sunday law being a mark of Rome's authority. And he does believe in the sanctity of the Sabbath, which is, and he does believe that should be kept by all Protestant or Christians, and that by keeping Sunday, knowingly or unknowingly, you're in lockstep with following the Antichrist or the Pope. But again, he is not a Seventh-day Adventist, so don't come out here and bashing Adventism or anything like that, because I hate to say it, what they've been proclaiming about this whole Sunday law thing, it's starting to become a common reality. Whether you want to acknowledge it or not. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and bring you this article. And I'm going to read this first, and then I'm going to go and go on this homepage and read the pledge. This website is entitled European Sunday Alliance. Okay. And I'm going to read this right here, which was issued on the 3rd of March 2015, which is entitled European Interest Group Work-Life Balance. First European Interest Group Work-Life Balance launched. On the very day when the European Day for a Work-Free Sunday is celebrated across Europe, at the EU-Parlament, and in the presence of MEPs from different political groups, the European Sunday Alliance launched the first European interest group on work-life balance. For the first time, the interest group, supported by representatives of politicians, trade unions, business executives, family and sports organizations, and representatives of churches and religious communities, brought together 50 people to discuss how to ensure that EU legislation respects and promotes workers' health and promotes a better balance between family and private life and work. Participants shared the consensus that these objectives do not conflict with the objectives of economic competitiveness. In the contrary, competitiveness needs innovation, innovation needs creativity, and creativity needs recreation. Now, what does this have to do with Rome, you might add? Well, what's interesting to note is that if you know anything about papal history and everything like that, is Rome is the hub, okay, is the controlling hub throughout all the world. Rome sets forth these rules, and then all of a sudden you notice the governments of the world start enacting upon these canons that Rome has put out through civil law. Okay, like the redistribution of wealth. You hear that from presidents here in the U.S. and these types of things. Well, this is in context the same thing. So you're not going to hear no religious rhetoric coming from here. But if you understand, like Rome's challenge to the Protestants regarding if you follow the Bible and the Bible alone, why are you worshiping on Sunday instead of Saturday and these types of things? If you understand that context, you'll be able to understand the workings behind the scenes of this regarding the European Union. Okay. The event was held under the patronage of MEPs Evelyn Regner, S&D, and Thomas Marin. Last year, many of the MEPs present signed the European Sunday Alliance Pledge. So let's go ahead and look at the Sunday Alliance Pledge. This is a pledge for a work-free Sunday and decent work ahead of the European elections 2014. So this pledge was made last year. And it goes on as follows, quote, "A work-free Sunday and decent working hours are of paramount importance for citizens and workers throughout Europe and are not necessarily in conflict with economic competitiveness, especially in the present time of socio-economic crisis. The adoption of legislation extending working hours to late evenings, nights, bank holidays, and Sundays has direct consequences for the working conditions of employees and for small and medium-sized enterprises. Competitiveness needs innovation, innovation needs creativity, and creativity needs recreation." Strong, interesting words there. As a current or future member of the European Parliament, I pledge, number one. Now this is the pledge, and this pledge is now put in action in the European Parliament. This is the pledge that, as a member of the European Parliament, you are obligated to make. So is this action going forth in Europe right now? Yes, it is. Number one, to ensure that all relevant EU legislation both respects and promotes the protection of a common weekly day of rest for all EU citizens, which shall be in principle on a Sunday, in order to protect workers' health and promote a better balance between family and private life and work. Number two, to promote EU legislation guaranteeing sustainable working time patterns based on the principle of decent work benefiting society as well as the economy as a whole. And here you can see all the signatures that were collected agreeing with this pledge. All the members of Parliament and these types of things. Now it's up to you. Contact your MEP candidate and call on him to commit her himself to ensure that all relevant EU legislations both respects and promotes the protection of a common weekly day of rest for all EU citizens. It was just basically repeating the pledge. Okay, we will publish it on our website. Photos that we receive before Wednesday, 15 January 2014, will be included in the presentation of the campaign during our conference at the European Parliament on the 21st of January 2013. So this has already happened. Okay. So let's go back to the regular article we were reading here. The issue of work-life balance, decent working hours, and synchronized free time for all citizens in Europe is important for many reasons. At a personal level, for time together with family and friends. Now, also, you probably have also heard Pope Francis consider Sunday Family Day. That this is not really a day that doesn't have it doesn't have to include going to church on a Sunday, but this should be recognized as a international day of rest, a family day. Okay. The issue of work-life balance, a decent working hours, and synchronized free time for all citizens in Europe is important for many reasons. At a personal level, for time together with family and friends, social, cultural, or sports activities. At a spiritual one, as a day of rest and religious edification, and above all, to ensure an adequate time of rest. A lack of work-life balance often leads to absenteeism, psychosocial stress at work, and burnout, and it has a clear negative impact on the economic productivity. And I agree with that, okay? But at the same time, why Sunday? The relevance of the topic becomes even more evident as the European Commission refers in its ongoing public consultation on the review of the Working Time Directive to a fundamental changes which have occurred in the world of work and the economy and that impact on many aspects of the organization of working time. The members of the interest group on work-life balance believe that the current legislation does not sufficiently address the issue of balance between work and private life, and does not ensure that workers can enjoy a common weekly day of rest. A thorough reflection and discussion on how to best ensure the protection of EU citizens' work-life balance is therefore urgently needed. Interest group provides the right format and opportunity to bring members of the European Parliament and representatives from civil societies and other organizations together. It will offer a platform, a regular and informal exchange of views, knowledge, and expertise on the different aspects and actors involved to ensure a better work-life balance for all. This was the first of a series of events that will address the issue of work-life balance, and that will continue for 2 years from now. The next meeting of the interest group will take place on June 1st, 2015. Professor Rosa from the German Friedrich Schiller University of Jena will be speaking about the acceleration of time under a sociological perspective. So there you go. So this whole Sunday Alliance initiative and this issue is going to continue for 2 years before I guess they reach a ultimate conclusion. But for now, this still is put in motion, and that this is getting ready to be put in as civil law. In other words, a Sunday law. Okay? Now, 2 years from now, that would be 2017. And 2017 is actually very interesting because that would mark the 500th anniversary of the Protestant Reformation, too. So that's also something to bear in mind. You also got Pope Francis coming in to the U.S. to address joint sessions of Congress on behalf of the American people in September of this year. So you have that going on. You also have the Pope's encyclical that is set to be released sometime in June, which is only a month from now, less than a month from now, regarding climate change. So with all this going on, I'm going to I want to bring to you now. Understand that this is also another video that you might want to check out. It's called Catholic Political Coercion Through Civil Law, which is what this really entails. That this is a Catholic principle being pushed on the people through civil law. Now, is that biblical? Now, this is discussed in the Bible under Romans 13. Now, what's interesting about Romans 13 is Romans 13 talks about doing good on behalf of the people for the betterment of man. Now, which tables of stone would that fall under? See, this is what civil leaders, this is their jurisdiction. They can't go beyond this jurisdiction. If they go beyond that jurisdiction, then they are stepping in wrong territory that they have no business in stepping in. And when it comes to them wanting to recognize Sunday as a day of rest, what territory are they stepping into? They're not stepping into the second table of law territory. They're stepping into the first, which violates the seventh day Sabbath. Now, when you look at Romans 13, let's go ahead and do that now. Okay, I want to go basically read the whole of this chapter. This is Romans 13, okay? Now, this is talking about the higher powers, people in leadership, people in government, and these types of things, okay? This is the jurisdiction that God gave to rulers and leadership, that they are not supposed to go above this, but at the same time, they are not supposed to have any part that deals with worship or anything. They are not to make any legislation that deals with worship, that deals with who you should serve or anything, which that part deals with loving God, which deals with the first four on the first tables of stone. The other tables of stone deals with loving your neighbor as yourself, in which these higher powers are subjected to obey and also to protect for its citizens. Okay? And what this European Sunday Alliance does, it basically puts the European Parliament at a point to where they can dictate what day is a day of rest, what day is a day of worship and stuff, because it mentioned religion, it mentioned education, and these types of things. So now they are stepping into different bounds. So this is why that is so this is truly in violation of Romans 13. Okay? Because now you have crossed the line into another border in which you're not supposed to be messing with. And so therefore, what does that also say? Is that these civil powers are in lockstep with the Antichrist. Because the Antichrist wants the same thing. Romans 13:1. Let every soul be subject unto the higher powers, for there is no power but of God. The powers that be are ordained of God. Whosoever therefore resisteth the powers resisteth the ordinance of God, and they that resist shall receive to themselves damnation. For rulers are not a terror to good works, but to the evil. Wilt thou then not be afraid of the power? Do that which is good, and thou shalt have praise of the same. Okay, and when you read further, you're going to understand what this good is. This has nothing to do with the first four tables of stone. You know, the first four commandments on the first table of stone. For he is the minister of God to thee for good. But if thou do that which is evil, be afraid, for he beareth not the sword in vain. For he is the minister of God, a revenger to execute wrath upon him that doeth evil. Wherefore ye must needs be subject, not only for wrath, but also for conscience sake. For this cause pay ye tribute also, for they are God's ministers, attending continually upon this very thing. Render therefore to all their dues, tribute to whom tribute is due, custom to whom custom, fear to whom fear, honor to whom honor. Owe no man anything, but to love one another, for he that loveth another hath fulfilled the law. Which law? Which part of the law? Well, if you understand the Ten Commandments, and I read the next couple verses, you're going to understand which part of the law. That these higher powers are supposed to be protecting. That these higher powers are supposed to be promoting to its people. For this, thou shalt not commit adultery, thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not bear false witness, thou shalt not covet. And if there be any other commandment, it is briefly comprehended in this saying, namely, thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. Love worketh no ill to his neighbor, therefore love is the fulfilling of the law. And that knowing the time that now it is high time to awake out of sleep, for now is our salvation nearer than when we believed. The night is far spent, the day is at hand. Let us therefore cast off the works of darkness, and let us put on the armor of light. Let us walk honestly as in the day, not in rioting and drunkenness, not in chambering and wantonness, not in strife and envying, but put ye on the Lord Jesus Christ, and make not provision for the flesh to fulfill the lusts thereof. So, again, what this European Sunday Alliance is in direct contradiction to Romans 13. It's in direct contradiction to the law of God, because what they are doing is going above and beyond their boundaries. And what they are doing is they are doing the bidding of the beast. The world wanders after the beast. This is going on in Europe. It's going to happen here. I don't know what else I can say on this matter. All I know is I do believe it's going to come to a choice. And this whole 7th day and first day of the week thing seems pretty legit that this could be that choice. It just seems pretty weird that all of this Sunday stuff is really starting to come out. And choose you this day whom you will serve. Truth be told, truth be known, stay safe. God bless. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye. And again, the videos that I mentioned will be posted in the description box below. Make sure you check those out. Hour of Truth goes into more great detail on this than I did. And I would strongly advise that you look into it. Okay. God bless. Bye-bye. Box below so you can listen to it for yourself. Joggler66, and the guest he has on his radio program, folks, he's not a Seventh-day Adventist. He does believe in the sanctity of the Seventh-day Sabbath. And he does acknowledge the aspect of Sunday laws. And this isn't some conspiracy, fear-mongering thing, okay? This is a fact. This is a fact that there is Sunday legislation being put out there. And the host of the show, he himself, he's from Belgium. So he lives within the European Union. So he is in the middle of this. He knows about this. And this is actually the first time I've heard about this. I haven't even really heard much Sabbatarians speak on this specific issue. But this is very interesting. Now, I'm going to bring to you two articles that he does reference and he does read off of here. And Greetings, everybody. I'm going to come at you with this video, which I think it's a very interesting topic. And for those that want to sit there and claim that this is some Seventh-day Adventist scare tactic or conspiracy theory, I just want to bring to you this video here. I'm not going to play it at all. I'm going to link you to it in the description, and I'm going to kind of go over something in Romans chapter 13, which is very unique, and I really liked how he put it in here. And then the rest of this, you'll have the opportunity to listen to this broadcast that was made on April 17th, 2015.